Let yourself be still now. There is nothing left for you to do tonight. The day is behind you, finished, whether it went the way you hoped or not, and it asks nothing more of you. You can set it down. You can let your shoulders soften, and your hands grow loose, and your breath grow slow and deep and quiet, like warm air rising gently from the earth at the close of a long day. Listen, the story I am going to tell you tonight is very old, older than the cities whose stones still stand under the bright Mexican sun, older than the people who first whispered it to one another in the dark. It is a slow story and a grand one, and it asks nothing of you but that you rest. You do not need to remember it. You do not need to follow every word. The words are only a soft path for you to wander down until you fall asleep, and you are welcome to fall asleep at any time. Whenever your thoughts drift away from my voice, let them drift. That is exactly what is meant to happen here. Tonight we go back to the very beginning, and then further still to before the beginning, to a time the old tellers of this land spoke of with great patience and great wonder, for they did not believe the world was made only once. They believed the world was made and unmade, and made again, over and over, like the slow turning of a great wheel, like the seasons turning, like day giving way to night and night giving way once more to day. They told of ages, whole worlds, each one with its own sun shining over it, each one rising and lasting its long while and then drawing gently to a close, so that a new world could begin. Imagine that for a moment, the way you might imagine a great calm wheel turning very slowly in the dark. There is no fear in it. There is no ending that is truly an ending, only a resting, and then a beginning again. Nothing is ever wholly lost. Everything returns, in time, made new. The old tellers found great comfort in this, and so may you. The world you live in tonight, they said, is not the first world, and the sun that warms your days is not the first sun. It is the fifth, and the story of how that fifth sun came to be born is the story I will tell you now, slowly, while you sink down toward sleep. Notice, before we begin, how your body is already resting. Notice the weight of you settling down into the bed, the way the mattress rises up to meet you and hold you, the way the pillow cradles your head. You do not have to hold any of it up yourself. The bed is doing that for you. The quiet room is holding you, and the dark is holding the room, and the patient earth is holding the house, and the great turning sky is holding the earth. All of it cradling you gently while you let go. There is nothing to grip and nothing to keep. Let each breath out be a little longer than the one before, and with each one, let a little more of the day drain softly away into the dark. So breathe out long and slow, and let the day go. We are going back to the beginning of beginnings, to the gods gathered in the dark, to a quiet and humble one who would become the light. There is no hurry in any of it. Let the story carry you. You have only to rest. Before our world, the old tellers said, there were other worlds, and each had its own sun, and each sun shone for a long age, and then was gently set down, the way you might set down a lamp at the end of an evening so that a new lamp could be lit in its place. The first sun was an age of giants, they said, a world lit by a soft and early light, and it lasted its long while, and then it drew to its close, and the giants and their world were carried gently into rest. And out of that rest a second world was made, with a second sun, and it too shone over the earth for an age. And the people of that world lived their days beneath it. And then it too came softly to its ending and was set down and folded away into the patient dark. And there was a third sun and a third world, with its own rivers and its own mountains and its own people walking beneath its light. And it lasted its age and then was rested. And there was a fourth sun, a world of water, the old teller said, where great rains came at last, and the waters rose, and the world was washed clean and carried down into a long blue quiet. The way a tide comes in over the flat sand and smooths away every footprint, leaving the shore clean and waiting. Let those four worlds wash over you without trying to hold them. 4 suns, 4 ages, 4 whole worlds, each one made and lasting and then gently unmade, like 4 long breaths, drawn one after another in the dark. You do not need to count them or keep them apart. Let them blur together into one slow feeling, the feeling of a great wheel turning, of worlds rising and resting, patient and unhurried, across ages too long to imagine. There is a quiet rhythm in that telling, and you can feel it even now, half asleep, the way you feel the slow swell of waves long after you have left the shore. Made and rested. Made and rested. The old tellers were in no hurry to move from one world to the next. They lingered over each one and gave it its full long age and let it shine, and only then let it lie down. Tonight, there is no need to hurry either. We have all the slow hours of the night, and the story will unfold as gently as those 4 worlds unfolded, one soft age at a time. You may sink into any one of them, or into the spaces between them, and rest there as long as you like. For this was the deep teaching folded into the heart of the story, and it is a gentle one. Nothing is permanent, and that is not a sorrow. Each world has its season, and shines its while, and then lies down to rest, and out of its resting the next world is born. The ending of one age is only the soft beginning of another. The 4 suns were not lost. They had simply finished their turning and made room for what would come. And notice, as you rest among these turning worlds, that this is the very same shape your own life makes, night after night, without your ever having to think about it. Each evening, your small world dims, and the light of your day is set down, and you sink into the dark of sleep, and you are carried gently through the long blue quiet of the night. And each morning, without any effort of yours, a new day is kindled, and you rise into it remade. You have done this thousands of times. You will do it again tonight. You are, in your own small and gentle way, a turning of the suns, an age that rises and rests and rises again, as patient and as sure as the great wheel the old teller spoke of. There is nothing in the whole story that is strange to you. You know how to do this. You were made to rest and to rise again. And so, after the 4th sun, the world of water, had drawn down at last into its long blue quiet, there came a time between worlds, a time of dark, a pause in the turning of the wheel, when the old sun was gone and the new sun had not yet been kindled, and the earth lay waiting beneath a sky with no light in it at all. It was not a fearful dark. It was a resting dark, a held breath, a patient between time, the way the deepest hour of the night holds still and quiet before the first far hint of dawn. The world was waiting to be lit again, and in that waiting dark, the gods began to gather. in the great dark between the worlds, when the fourth sun had set, and no new sun had yet risen, the gods came together to take counsel, the old teller said, in a place called Teotihuacan. Hold that name softly in your mind for a moment. Teotihuacan. The old teller said it meant the place where the gods were made, or the place where one becomes a god, and it was a wide and sacred ground beneath the dark and empty sky. Long after, when our own world was old, people would still walk among the great stone roads and broad steel avenues of that place and feel how holy it was, and they would say, the gods must have gathered here. But on the night of this story, there were no stones yet, no roads, no great built things at all. There was only the wide, dark ground and the dark and starless sky above it, and the gods coming quietly together upon it in the cool of the waiting night. Picture them gathering. They came from every quarter of the dark, the shining ones, the makers and the keepers of the turning world, and they sat down together in a great wide circle upon the patient earth. And among them, moving quietly, was one whose name you should hold gently tonight, for he is the heart of this story. He was called Quetzalcoatl. His name meant the feathered serpent, and he was one of the oldest and gentlest of all the gods of that land. The old tellers pictured him sometimes as a great serpent robed in the long, shining green feathers of a beautiful bird, gliding through the air with the grace of a snake and the brightness of a wing. And sometimes they pictured him as a calm and kindly god with a thoughtful face, a friend to the people who would one day live beneath the new sun. He was a god of the soft wind that comes before the rain, and of learning, and of gentle and patient things. And he sat now among the gathered gods in the dark, waiting with them for what must be done. For there was a question before them all, hanging in the dark and quiet air. The world was made and waiting, but it lay in darkness, and a world cannot live in darkness forever. There must be a sun, a new sun, a fifth sun, to rise over the new age and warm the earth and light the days of all the people who would come. But a sun does not simply appear. The old tellers said that for a sun to be born and to rise and to move across the sky, one of the gods must give something of themselves. One of them must go into the great fire that the others would build, and through that giving, through that gentle leap into the light, become the sun itself. Let yourself rest a while in that gathering before any answer comes. There is something deeply peaceful in the picture of it. A wide circle of quiet, patient ones, sitting together in the cool dark in no hurry at all, simply being together beneath the empty sky. No one is afraid. No one is rushing. They have come from every corner of the dark to sit and wait and decide together what must be done. The way a family might sit together in the soft lamplight at the end of a long day, saying little, content simply to be near one another. The night is wide around them, and the ground is cool beneath them, and the great question can wait a little longer while they rest in one another's company. You may sit there with them, in your mind. One more quiet shape in the circle, asked for nothing, simply present in the gentle dark. And so the gathered gods, sitting in their wide circle on the dark ground of Teotihuacan, looked at one another across the quiet and asked the great soft question of the night. Who will it be who will give themselves to the fire and rise as the light of the new world? Let that question hang gently in the dark for now, the way it hung over the gathered gods. There was no fear in it, only a great and patient waiting in the cool dark beneath the empty sky. for the one who would become the morning. The gods agreed that there must be a fire, a great and sacred fire, and that the one who would become the sun must come to it and give themselves to the light, and so rise. And so, in the wide dark of Teotihuacan, they built it. The old teller said the gods made a great hearth upon the dark ground, and gathered wood for it, and kindled it, and tended it, and let it grow. Picture that fire growing slowly in the dark. At first, only a small bright seed of flame, a single warm point of light in all that patient dark. And then, fed gently and tended with care, it grew and spread and rose until it was a great pillar of warm light standing in the middle of the gathered gods, the only light in all the dark world, throwing its soft and shifting glow across their faces and out across the wide, still ground. For 4 days, the old teller said, the fire burned, and the gods kept their watch around it. 4 long, quiet days and 4 long, quiet nights, though there was no sun yet to tell the days from the nights, only the steady burning of the great fire and the slow, patient passing of the dark hours. And all the while, the gods sat around it, watching the flames rise and fall and rise again, feeling the warmth of it on their faces in the cool of the endless night, waiting for the one who would step forward and make the leap into the light. There is something very restful in a fire watched in the dark. Perhaps you have known it on some cool evening. The simple peace of sitting before a fire and watching the flames move, the way they rise and curl and settle, the warm light playing soft and golden over everything near, the dark drawing close and gentle all around. The mind grows quiet before fire. The thoughts slow down. The eyes grow heavy with the warmth and the slow dancing of the light. Let that be the feeling now. You are sitting in your mind among the gathered gods, in the wide dark of the place where gods are made, before a great and gentle fire. And there is nothing you need to do but watch the flames and feel the warmth and rest. Let the warmth of that fire reach you now. Across all the long ages, soft and golden on your face. Feel how the body loosens before a fire. The hands grow warm and heavy. The eyelids grow heavy too, drawn down by the warmth and the slow gold dancing of the flames. The cool of the night is at your back, but the fire is in front of you, gentle and steady, and you lean a little toward it and you let your eyes half close, and the flames blur into soft moving light. There is nowhere you need to be. There is nothing the night needs of you. There is only the fire and the warmth in the slow, patient passing of the quiet, dark hours, and the deep rest of sitting still before a flame in good company. Let yourself drift there as long as you like. And as the great fire burned, and the 4 days passed, 2 of the gods came forward from the gathered circle. For the great question of the night had been asked, who will give themselves to the fire and become the sun? And now, at last, 2 of them answered it. 2 of them said, in their own ways, I will. And the gathered gods turned their quiet faces toward these 2. The 2 who would prepare themselves to make the leap into the light. One was proud and splendid, and one was humble and small. And the difference between them is the soft heart of this old story, and I will tell it to you now, slowly, while the fire burns on in the dark. The first of the 2 who came forward was a god named Tecuciztecatl, and he was proud and beautiful and richly arrayed. Hold his name gently, the way you hold all the names in this story, without trying too hard to keep it. Tecuciztecatl. He was a splendid god, the old tellers said, robed in fine and costly things, in the soft green feathers of beautiful birds and ornaments of gold and precious turquoise, and offerings worthy of his splendor were gathered for him. When it came time to give to the sacred fire, he gave the rarest and the finest of everything, branches of gold, feathers of great worth, the most precious things he could find. He stood before the gathered gods in all his beauty and his rich array, and he said, in effect, I will be the one. I will leap into the fire and rise as the sun. For he wished to be the bright lord of the new age, and he saw the glory of it, and he wanted it for himself. And the second of the two who came forward was very different. His name was Nanahuatzin, and he was small and humble and poor. Hold his name gently too, for he is the one this story loves. Nanahuatzin, the old tellers said he was the least and the lowliest of the gods, a small quiet figure with none of the splendor of Tecuciztecatl, no gold, no precious feathers, no rich array at all. He was not beautiful in the way the proud god was beautiful. He was covered, the old teller said, with small humble marks upon his skin, the marks of a hard and lowly life. And for this, they sometimes called him the pimpled one, the scabby little god. Though they said it with tenderness and not with scorn, he had nothing fine to offer. Where Tecuciztecatl gave gold and rare feathers to the sacred fire, Nanahuatzin had only the simplest of things to give, humble reeds and green boughs, and his own small offerings made not of gold, but of his own being. He gave what little he had, but he gave all of it, and he held nothing back. And here is the quiet center of the whole story, the part to let sink deep into you now. When the proud god Tecuciztecatl gave to the fire, he gave from his great abundance, the finest of his many fine things, and it cost him little, for he had so much. But when the humble god Nanahuatzin gave to the fire, he gave from his poverty, the little that was all he had, and it was everything. The splendid god offered his riches, the lowly god offered himself, and the gathered gods watched both of them in the firelight, the proud one in his gold and feathers, and the humble one in his simple reeds, and they waited to see which of them, when the moment came, would truly be able to make the leap into the light. There is a tenderness in the way the old teller spoke of Nanahuatzin that is worth resting in for a moment. They did not scorn him for being poor or small or marked. They loved him for it. They knew, in the way the old wise tellers always seem to know, that the lowliest one is often the one with the truest heart, and that the willingness to give is worth more than all the gold in the world. So when they told of the humble god offering his simple reeds beside the splendid god's branches of gold, they smiled in their telling, because they knew already which of the two the story belonged to. You may rest in that knowing too. You may set down, just for tonight, any sense that you must be splendid or rich or finely arrayed to be worth something. The story tells you otherwise. The smallest and simplest giving is the one that becomes the light. Let yourself feel the gentleness of that. It is not the splendor that matters in this old story. It is not the gold or the rare feathers or the rich array. It is the willingness to give wholly, to hold nothing back, to step forward small and humble and unafraid into the warm light. The least of the gods, the poor and quiet one, was about to become the greatest light the world would ever know, and he did not yet know it. He only knew that he was willing. When the 4 days of the fire had passed, the time came at last for the giving. for the leap into the light, and the two gods made themselves ready in the warm glow of the great hearth. The gathered gods called first upon the Splendid One, upon Tecuciztecatl, for he was proud and beautiful and had offered himself before all. They said to him, "Gently, now is the time. Go forward, leap into the fire, and rise as the sun." And Tecuciztecatl gathered himself in all his rich array, and he ran toward the great fire to make the leap into the light. But the fire was very great and very bright and very hot, and when he drew near to it and felt the fierce warmth of it upon his face, his courage failed him, and he stopped. He could not make himself leap. He turned back. The gathered gods, patient and kind, said to him, "Try again." And he gathered himself once more, and ran again toward the fire, and again, drawing near to the great heat and the roaring light, his heart failed him, and he stopped and turned away. 4 times, the old teller said, the splendid god ran toward the fire, and 4 times he could not make the leap. His splendor and his gold and his fine feathers could not carry him into the light. When the moment came, his pride was not enough, and so the gathered gods turned gently to the humble one, to small Nanahuatzin, the lowly god in his simple reeds, who had given the little he had and held nothing back. They said to him softly, "Now you, go forward." And Nanahuatzin did not hesitate, and he did not turn back. He shut his eyes, the old teller said, and he gathered all of his small, humble courage, and he ran toward the great fire, and he leapt into the light. Let me tell this part as gently as it can be told, for it is the heart of the night, and it is a tender thing, and not a fearful one. Nanahuatzin did not meet the fire as something terrible. He gave himself to it, the way you might give yourself to sleep, the way you might lean back at last into warm water and let it hold you. He leapt into the warm light, and the light received him and gathered him in and made him its own. There was no pain in it, only a great soft brightening, a giving over of all that he was into the fire, so that the small and humble God ceased to be small and ceased to be humble and became, instead, the light itself. He gave himself wholly and was wholly transformed, and out of his giving the light grew and grew and grew. And when the splendid Tecuciztecatl saw that the humble one had done what he himself could not do, that the lowly god had leapt where he had 4 times turned back, then, at last, his own courage was kindled, and he too ran forward, and he too gave himself to the fire and the light. And so there were now 2 lights gathering in the great dark, 2 glowing presences born of the fire, where before there had been none, 2 who had given themselves wholly, 2 who had become light. Stay a moment with the picture of that giving, for it is the gentlest thing in the whole story. Think again of how Nanahuatzin met the fire, not with dread, not with a fight, but with closed eyes and an open heart, the way you give yourself to sleep at the end of a long day. You do not struggle into sleep. You do not force it. You simply let go and lean back and allow the warm dark to gather you in. And there is no pain in it at all, only a softening, a loosening, a melting away of the small self into something larger and warmer and kinder. That is how the humble God met the light. He let go, and the light gathered him in and made him glorious. And that is how you may meet your own sleep tonight. Just let go. Just lean back. Just allow the warm dark to gather you in. There is nothing to fear in it, and nothing to do. Only the gentle giving over of all that you are into. Rest. Feel how the fear in this story does not last, and was never really there at all. The splendid one's failure was gentle, and the humble one's giving was gentle. And now, out of the warm fire in the dark, two great lights were being born to fill the empty sky. The leap was made, the giving was done, and the long dark world was about to know its morning. After the two gods had given themselves to the fire and become light, the gathered gods waited in the dark, watching the sky, to see where the new lights would rise. For a long while, there was only waiting. The fire had burned low, its great work done, and the wide dark of Teotihuacan lay quiet under the empty sky, and the gods sat in a hush, their faces turned upward, looking to the eastern edge of the world for the first sign of the morning. The old tellers said they did not know, at first, where the light would come from, and they peered all around the dark horizon, this way and that, watching, waiting, in the deep stillness of the last dark hour before the dawn. And then, at last, far off at the eastern rim of the world, the sky began to grow pale. A soft glow gathered along the edge of the dark, the very first light the new world had ever known, faint and rose and tender, spreading slowly upward into the waiting sky. And the gathered gods turned toward it, and they knew that the morning was coming. The new sun was about to rise. The fifth sun, born of the humble God's giving, was lifting itself over the edge of the world. Let yourself wait there, in that last hush before the dawn, for it is one of the most peaceful moments in all the story. The fire burned low. The gods sat silent, their faces turned to the east. The whole dark world held its breath. There is a stillness in the last hour before sunrise that nothing else in the world quite matches. A deep blue quiet, a soft expectancy, the dark not yet gone and the light not yet come. Everything waiting, gentle and unhurried, for the morning that is surely on its way. You may rest in that hush as long as you like. The dawn is coming, but it is in no hurry, and neither are you. There is only the cool dark and the soft paling of the eastern sky, and the deep peace of waiting for a light you know will surely rise. And then it rose. Up over the eastern horizon climbed the new sun, warm and golden and brilliant, flooding the dark world with light for the first time in all the long between age. It was Nanahuatzin, the small and humble god, the lowly one who had leapt without fear into the fire. He who had been the least of the gods rose now as the greatest light in all the sky, blazing and golden and beautiful, pouring his warmth and his brightness across the whole waiting earth. The world that had lain so long in darkness was filled, all at once, with the soft gold of morning. The mountains caught the light. The wide ground of Teotihuacan glowed warm and golden, and the gods looked up at the risen sun, at the humble one made glorious, and there was great joy among them. And then, behind the sun, a second light rose in the east. It was Tecuciztecatl, the splendid one, who had given himself to the fire after the humble god had shown him the way. He too rose shining over the edge of the world, and at first, the old teller said, he shone almost as bright as the sun itself, two great lights blazing side by side in the new sky. But it seemed not quite right that there should be two suns of equal brightness, two equal lights to rule the day, for then there would be no rest, no soft dimming, no gentle night. And so the old tellers said, one of the gods took up a rabbit, a small soft creature, and cast it gently across the face of the splendid Tecuciztecatl, and his brightness was softened and dimmed and cooled until he shone no longer with the gold of day, but with the soft, pale silver of night. And so Tecuciztecatl became the moon. The proud and splendid one became the gentle keeper of the night, the soft, pale light that watches over the dark hours and waxes and wanes across the month and lays its quiet silver across the sleeping world. And ever after, the old teller said, if you look up at the full moon on a clear night, you may see upon its face the soft shadow of that rabbit, the gentle mark of the moment. The splendid god's brightness was cooled into the tender light of night. Rest a moment in the gentleness of that picture. There was no quarrel in it, no loss, only a softening. The two great lights did not need to be equal, and so one became the warm gold of day, and one became the soft silver of night. And between them, they made the whole turning round of light and rest that the world would need to live. For a world cannot be all daylight. It needs its nights too, its soft, dim hours, its time of silver and shadow, when everything grows quiet and lies down to sleep. The night is not the absence of the sun. It is the other half of the turning, the resting half, the half you are sinking into now, kept gently by the soft, pale light of the cooled and quiet moon. The sun for the day, golden and warm. The moon for the night, silver and soft. The humble one made glorious, and the splendid one made gentle. The two of them together turning across the sky, day and night, light and rest, forever after. The fifth sun had risen, golden and warm over the new world. But at first, the old teller said, it hung there at the edge of the sky and did not move. It rose to its place above the eastern horizon, and there it stayed, shining steady and bright but motionless, not climbing toward noon, not crossing toward the west, simply resting where it had risen. And a sun that does not move cannot make the days and the nights. It cannot bring the morning and the evening, the noon and the twilight, the turning of light and rest that the world would need to live. For the world to truly live, the sun must travel. It must rise in the east and climb the high blue arc of the sky and sink in the west, and rise again the next morning, over and over, the patient daily journey that makes the days turn and the seasons follow one another, and the whole great wheel of time go round. So the gathered gods looked up at the still sun, resting at the edge of the morning, and they understood that one more giving was needed to set it moving on its long journey across the sky. And here the old tellers told of the wind. For Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, the gentle god of the soft wind that comes before the rain, breathed out his great breath across the sky. He sent the wind, strong and steady and patient, against the resting sun, and the wind pushed it gently and set it moving, and lifted it up off the edge of the world and started it on its way along the high arc of the heavens. And so the fifth sun began to move, pushed by the patient wind. It lifted from the eastern rim and began to climb, slow and steady, up the great blue dome of the sky, toward the high bright noon, and then on toward the soft gold of evening and the western edge of the world. And when it sank at last in the west, the moon rose to keep the night, and crossed the dark in its turn and sank. And then the sun rose once more in the east to begin another day. The wheel was turning. The days had begun. The fifth world had its sun, rising and crossing and setting, marking out the patient days, and the moon to follow it through the nights. And the whole great cycle of light and rest was set going at last, to turn on and on through all the long age of the fifth sun. There is something fitting and lovely in it, being the wind that set the sun moving, and you may rest a moment in that too. For Quetzalcoatl's wind was not a fierce or stormy thing. It was the soft wind that comes before the rain, the gentle breath that stirs the leaves and cools the air and carries the smell of water from far off. The same kind of patient, easy breath that you are breathing now, slow and quiet, in and out. It did not need to be strong to move the sun. It only needed to be steady and patient and sure, breathing on and on until the great still sun began to drift and then to glide, and then to travel freely along its arc. Your own slow breath tonight is a little like that wind, patient and gentle, carrying you a little further toward sleep with each soft passage, in and out, in and out. Let that turning settle deep into you now, slow and steady and sure. The sun rises in the east, warm and golden, and climbs the high sky and sinks in the west. The moon rises soft and silver and crosses the dark and sinks in its turn. Day and night, light and rest, over and over, patient and unhurried. The great wheel turning as it has turned every day since the gods set it going on the wide, dark ground of Teotihuacan. There is such deep peace in that steady turning. Whatever happens in any single day, the sun will set and the night will come, and the soft moon will rise to keep its watch, and you will rest. And in the morning, the sun will rise again. It always rises again. The wheel always turns, and you can let go tonight into the turning and trust the morning to come when it is time. So the fifth world was made and lit and set turning, and at last it could simply be. Think of how much had happened and how slowly, and how all of it had come to rest. 4 suns had risen and shown their long ages and been gently set down. 4 whole worlds made and rested in the patient turning of the wheel. And then, in the great dark between the worlds, the gods had gathered on the wide ground of Teotihuacan and built a sacred fire and watched it burn through 4 long, quiet days, and 2 had come forward. The splendid Tecuciztecatl in his gold and feathers, and the humble Nanahuatzin in his simple reeds. And when the moment came, it was the lowly one, the small and quiet one, who leapt without fear into the warm light and gave himself wholly and rose as the golden sun, and the splendid one had followed him into the fire and risen as the soft silver moon. And the gentle feathered serpent, Quetzalcoatl, had breathed out the patient wind and set the still sun moving on its long journey across the sky, and the days had begun, and the wheel had begun to turn. And now all of it was finished, and all of it was at rest. The golden sun crossed the high blue sky each day, the humble God made glorious, pouring his warmth across the mountains and the rivers and the wide green fields of the new world. And the silver moon followed him through each night. The splendid God made gentle, laying his soft pale light across the sleeping earth, the shadow of the little rabbit resting quiet upon his face. And the people who would come to live beneath that sun would look up at it by day and feel its warmth, and look up at the moon by night and feel its peace, and they would remember, in the old stories whispered in the dark, that the warm sun above them had once been the least and the lowliest of all, the small, humble one who gave himself wholly to the light. For that is the deep teaching folded into the heart of this old story, and it is a gentle one. And you do not have to hold it, only let it warm you as you drift. The greatest light came from the humblest giving. It was not the gold or the rich feathers or the splendor that became the sun. It was the willingness to give wholly, to hold nothing back, to step forward small and quiet and unafraid into the warm light. And the giving was not a loss. The humble God was not lost when he leapt into the fire. He was transformed. He became the sun and rises every morning, warm and golden, over the whole turning world, and will rise tomorrow and the day after, and every day of your long life. The leap into the light was a leap into becoming everything. And there is one more gentle gift folded into this old story, and it is perhaps the softest of all. The humble God did not give himself away into nothing. He gave himself into everything. He did not vanish when he leapt into the fire. He became the warm gold light that touches every leaf and every face and every quiet sleeping town across the whole wide turning world. So the giving was not a losing. It was a becoming. And in the same gentle way, when you give yourself to sleep tonight, you are not losing yourself. You are returning, for a little while, to the warm dark from which the morning rises, and you will not vanish there. You will be kept and held and carried, and in the morning you will rise again into the light, whole and rested and made new. So when you sleep tonight, you are joining the great wheel that the gods set turning on the dark ground of Teotihuacan. You are letting the sun set and the soft moon rise and the night come gently down as it has come down every night since the fifth sun first began to move. There is nothing you must do to make the morning come. The wheel turns on its own, patient and sure, the way it has turned through all the long age of the fifth sun. The sun will set. The moon will keep its watch. And in the morning, without any effort of yours, the warm gold light will rise again over the edge of the world, and you will wake into a new day, remade, the way the world itself was made new from the dark. Let your breath go slow and deep. The way the patient wind moved slow across the sky, let your body grow heavy and still. The way the wide ground of Teotihuacan lay still beneath the gathered gods. Feel the steady earth beneath you, holding your rest. Feel the dark sky over the roof above you, where the soft moon keeps its silver watch, the little rabbit resting on its face. The sun is set. The moon is up. The wheel is turning, slow and sure, and it will bring the morning when it is time. And you are held, as the new world was held, safe inside a story, older than the great stone roads of Teotihuacan, gentle as the wind before the rain. There is nothing left for you to do. The fire is burned down long ago. The humble God has leapt and risen, and shines now warm and golden over a turning world. The sun is set for tonight, and the moon is up, and the days will go on rising and setting without any help from you at all. All of it is finished, and all of it is resting, and so now may you. Let my voice grow faint. Let the words blur softly into the dark. Let yourself sink, slow and deep and warm, down past the last thin edge of waking, into the gentle quiet from which, in the morning, the light will rise again. Sleep now. The wheel is turning. The sun will rise. Good night.